lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Friction is heat. You know, you take an engine where the lifter goes up and down, pushes the valve up and down, it really gets hot right there. That's where oil breaks down and where we have failures. AMSOIL, on the other hand, it's a true synthetic lubricant. It's just idling right there. It doesn't even know it's being used. In other words, 300 degrees is whole hum to AMSOIL.
Two races are all that sit between Tommy Ryan and the 2015 ASRS AMSOIL Truck Series Championship, or are they? Though Gary Whitson is outside of striking range, he and a couple other drivers are still mathematically alive in the title hunt, and it remains to be seen if Ryan can survive this penultimate event at Phoenix International Raceway, which will be held here live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me is James Krahula. Behind the scenes we have Joe Peak directing, and our cameras are brought to you today by Dougie Beard. Recently, Phoenix International Raceway has undergone some changes in real life and on the iRacing sim, but how could that affect what we're about to see here tonight, James?
Well, Samuel, with the new repave that they did here a couple years ago, all that grass that's down there on that backstretch is gone. So restarts are going to be absolutely crazy here. You could use every single bit of that concrete there on the backstretch, and you'll definitely see guys going all the way down there. But the big thing too is that when you get to turn 3, you still need to slow down and still get back in line. But we still have its characteristic 1 mile, 8 to 11 degrees of banking. It's very characteristic kink and dogleg there on the back stretch. Definitely one of the unique tracks that we go to here in the AMSOIL Truck Series, and a great favorite by a lot of these drivers. It's definitely very challenging and very fun to drive as well.
Made even more favourite for the drivers tonight, the fact that there's a lot of grip going to be out there. Only 71 degrees track temperature for this night race, and there is a trace currently going on right now in the championship, but you can see it as almost pretty much being won by Tommy Ryan, who has a 23-point advantage over Gary Whitson. Now 1 point per position, 32 trucks are allowed to start each race, so technically Jim Foose would have to hope for Tommy Ryan to finish last in both races and him win both, so I would rule it at about 4 right there, but in all realisticness, if that's a word, if Tommy Ryan has a decent race tonight, he can probably wrap the championship up here tonight, as positions 6 through 10 on screen are on screen right there. What do you think though, James, as we're currently doing qualifying right here? Gary Whitson has qualified in 3rd currently, and Tommy Ryan hasn't done as well. He's in 12th, although there's still drivers out there putting some laps on. Do you think Gary can do what he needs to do and try and get himself back in championship contention heading into the finale at Homestead Miami Speedway next Wednesday?
Well, absolutely, Tommy is in a position that he wants to be in. He wants to be in control of the championship, and he wants to have control of what is going to happen for these next couple of races. But Gary, he can definitely do everything that he needs to do at this point. But he is going to need a little bit of help from Tommy, and that is on the bad luck side of things for sure. But Gary Whitson is definitely a driver that can get it done. We've seen him run up front. We've seen him win 3 races so far this year. The only person that has more, or the only 2 people that have more, are the people that he is fighting in the championship, and also Justin Fuller, who's been running a part-time schedule with the AMSOIL Truck Series this season. So we're definitely going to need some bad luck by Tommy, and Gary Whitson's definitely the guy that can be running up front to capitalize on that, to make it a little bit more of a battle at Homestead. But right now, this point situation is exactly what Tommy is wanting.
And Jim Foose, the driver sitting fourth in the points, has not had a good qualifying session. He's actually putting the slowest time out there down, but we've seen this before from Jim, not qualifying last necessarily, but not qualifying too well, but he's usually good at rallying his way through the field and being there at the top, in the top 10 at the end. However, the driver lined up one position ahead of him is Ricky Hardin. The driver's third in the points, so Ricky Hardin and Jim Foose not doing a great job so far at keeping their championship hopes alive. However, we are going to be racing 75 laps around here at Phoenix, and though that doesn't sound like a lot for a small track, if there's enough cautions, anything can happen.
No, definitely. Hold on, I'm getting the 72 and the 37 will fail to qualify tonight. That will be Daniel Vining, the 72, and the 37 of Carson Aube. They have failed to make the race tonight.
Yeah, and Carson Aube, the number 37, doesn't actually have a qualifying time. Now that may mean he lost connection to the server during qualifying, or it could also mean that maybe he grazed the wall on these two qualifying laps, because if you have so much brush a wall on the qualifying run, your run doesn't count. Another driver who wasn't able to get a timed qualifying lap in is Jeff Ryan. However, he has not been sent home, so he will have to start at the back of the field, and it'll be interesting to see how far up he can work his way through the field during this 75 lap race. What kind of race do you think we're going to see here, James? Are we going to see a bit of yellow fever tonight? I mean, it is a small track.
This is a track where you do have a little bit more room. It is yet to be seen what type of racing we're going to have here. Normally have really great racing here in the AMSOIL Truck Series here, the American Sim Racing Series. I think that these guys could definitely see a long run tonight. Possibly not long enough for green flag pit stops, but definitely long enough to kind of let these guys get into a rhythm here. This track, even though it is a short track, it is still very wide, and so you do have a lot of room you can run around here.
Alright, well, it looks like everyone has done their qualifying laps, even though we still have 2 minutes of qualifying left here, so let's read out the order for you. Jesse Fowler has taken his pole position in the number 98. Now, Jesse Fowler is a chase driver, although he's down there 9th in the points, 130 markers back of Tommy Ryan. And this is his first pole position of the season, so congratulations, Jesse. He will be lined up alongside the number 5 truck of Dan Murray, and then second driver in the points, Gary Whitson, will start in third, lined up alongside former pro driver there, Adam Gilliland, in 4th place, and then on the 5th row is Jonathan Cadell and Alec Marshall. Alec, one of the drivers new to the series this season.
And starting in 7th will be the number 20 of Chad Coleman. Ran his first race last week. Made a lot of noise here at Texas. He will be starting in 7th tonight. Outside of him will be the 182 of Troy Height. The number 90 of E.J. O'Rourke will be starting in 9th place. And Fred Moreau will be starting in 10th. A guy that likes to sneak up on these guys and get there towards the end of the event. So he's definitely starting in a good position to get that done tonight. Bryce Whitson Jr. will be starting in 11th place, and then your championship leader, Tommy Ryan, will be starting in 12th position tonight, Samuel.
Jared Haggerty went flying with the helicopters during the practice session, but he has gotten his wheels back on the ground and qualified it in 13th place ahead of Oslin Missler in the number 11 there in 14th position. A new driver to the series, Michael Atkins Jr. made his debut with the ASRS in another one of their divisions last night. He is lined up in 15th alongside Brian Yatzik, who has a win this season, who will be starting from the 16th spot. On the 9th row is Robert Barney, another new driver, alongside 15-year-old Alex Bergeron in 18th.
And in 19th, we have a new driver, Pierre-Luc Moreau. I don't know if there's any relation to Fred Moreau or not. We will try and figure that out. We'll be starting in 19th. Steve Bruhala will be starting in the 20th position here in the 12 car. Jeff Castilla will be starting in 21st. Outside of him will be Nick Cohan in the number 21. Michael Krobach went a couple of weeks ago here at Vegas in the ASRS Truck Series. We'll be starting in 23rd, and then Mark Myers will be starting in 24th tonight.
And you just saw the checkered flag on the top left of your screen. That means qualifying's finished. So qualifying runs actually finished a little while ago, and the field is getting gridded up on pit road. They will have 2 pace laps here. Michael Koenig will be starting in 25th place alongside Jeffrey Gilliam. Sean Music will be starting in 27th alongside Aaron Kleinhans in 28th. Alex Bates and Daniel Vinian was one of the drivers that did not qualify, so Alex Bates will start 29th, Ricky Hardin, 3rd in the points, will start 30th, Jim Fuchs, 4th in the points, will start 31st, and then rounding out the field will be Jeff Ryan in the number 39 truck. And that...
Go ahead.
That is before we have any drivers get sent to the end of the field here, James, because we do traditionally see some ASRS drivers receive AOL penalties before the green flag flies.
Yeah, we will see those drivers start to head towards the back here, towards the end of the race. Penalties from the last race, but I do have to give a big shout out to Jesse Fowler, first pole of the season. I know that he's already messaged me saying make sure I talk about it. He is very excited about that pole and has been running really good here. New to the iRacing sim here. Just joined last year, is using secondhand equipment that he got from his teammate Ricky Hardin. And here he is starting on the pole tonight. Got a win a little bit earlier in the season here in the ASRS Series 2. So brand new to this series and then also brand new to iRacing 2. So very good running out of him.
Absolutely. Despite being in the chase, he has only had 5 top 10 finishes this season, and you already see a couple of drivers pulling into pit stalls on the left there. I'm going to guess they're either drivers who have received EOL penalties or want to start at the back of a field for safety reasons. And we'll give you a list of those drivers who have dropped to the back here momentarily. There will be 2 pace laps around here because it's only a mile long track. And in a little moment, you'll get to see what the dog leg looks like around here. There you go, you can see all that pavement is track that you can race on.
Yeah, and Adam Billen in the 28 and the number 20 of Chad Coleman are those drivers that do have that in the longest line penalty. But Samuel, I think that the pace car, yeah, it's off. We're going green.
Oh, my apologies. All right, we are going green rather quickly here, and Jesse Fowler is going to lead the field away. Gary Whitson started 3rd, but he's already up into 2nd as they get into the first corner. He's on the inside of Dan Murray, and that number 5 truck is on the high line as they come out of turn 2, and now we'll get to see them use all the track as they run through the dogleg and down into turn 3.
And all the track they are using, man, they are going all the way down to that wall. It's all fair game here at Phoenix International Raceway, and especially on these restarts, these guys are going to take advantage of it and try and get every position that they can.
Absolutely, they're able to get through the first lap cleanly. Once again, reminder, and at the top right hand side of the screen, there are 75 laps in this race, and meanwhile championship leader Tommy Ryan is going the wrong way. He was in 10th, he just dropped out of the top 10 behind Michael Atkins Jr., the new driver, who is now looking for 9th position already despite having started 15th, although I think he may have been gifted a couple of those positions when a couple of the trucks dropped to the tail end of the field.
That's right, and I'm watching the number 00 of Bryce Whitson run outside of, I believe that's the 14 of Alex Marshall right now, and some great battling going on here. And we see the number 9 of Brian Yatzik trying to get below of the number 16 of Tommy Ryan, just a few positions behind him. Plenty of room to run side by side on this racetrack out here tonight, Samuel.
Jesse Fowler still leads from pole, but maybe not for very long. He apexed turn 1 early, and I think Dan Murray, who was kind of up there in the outside groove in 2nd place, is trying to get a run off the exit. Look at how much of a dogleg Murray is using lap after lap. It's the shortest way around, but then he has to make sure he doesn't overshoot turn 3, and he doesn't, but at the moment he has not been able to make inroads on Fowler. Jonathan Cadell, Gary Whitson and Bryce Whitson round out the top 5.
And a really big battle going on back here. Tommy Ryan, your championship leader, is in the middle of it right now. He's in there with Jared Haggerty. We also have, who else do we have right here in this battle? Looks like the 14 of Alex Marshall. Brian Yatzik is also involved in there too. Just a gaggle of trucks out here.
Absolutely, but it seems like all the lines are working for these drivers so far, although granted as the race goes on that might change a little bit now that iRacing has dynamic tracks. I see a battle there, as you mentioned, Brian Yatzik running side by side with another truck for 10th place. No change up front, they're pretty much single file throughout the top 10, but once you get back to the middle of the field, that's where they're all racing side by side, including Alex Bergeron making a move on Brian Yatzik. We see that happening right there.
Yeah, and that was an aggressive move there by Alex Bergeron, but is able to pull it off as well. And Brian Yatzik's going to try and go back to work on them. Michael Krobach is getting racy behind him as well. We see, I believe that is the, I can't tell if that's Alex Bates or not, in the 22. No, Austin Missler. That was Austin Missler that I was. Austin Missler and Troy Height also making that bottom line work.
Now, James, you've raced in with these caliber drivers in the truck.
Caution. See if I could find that on my screen to find out what happened.
I think it's Ricky Hardin, the driver who was sitting third in the points and really only fell out of championship contention last week. And his championship hopes might be done here. Let's go to the replay. And you can see he's running behind the number, I think that's a 33 truck. And I'm not quite sure if he got into the truck ahead or if he lost it all on his own. Fortunately, he doesn't hit anything, and so he might be able to work his way back up through the field. But Ricky not having a good night tonight so far, James.
No, and it looks like he just got a little bit loose off of the corner there. No contact with the 33 there in front of him, but definitely not what Ricky is wanting to see in his championship hopes. He's still clinging to life as much as he can right there, and definitely not helping his cause, though is able to keep it off the wall, can come in, get some fresh good years, and try and get back out there without too much penalty.
That was Sean Music in the number 33, but he wasn't involved in the incident. Everyone is coming onto pit road as they come around to complete lap 9 of 75. Jesse Fowler actually has a couple of truck lengths on Dan Murray as they roll in. Now I see one truck staying out there, that is Michael Krobach. So, Michael Krobach making a bit of a strategy call. Let's see if Fowler can win this race off pit road. Do you think we'll see any two tyres here, James?
Phoenix is a track where you can probably get two tires done. We'll see if any drivers are willing to give that a go. Now would be a good time to try and do that this early in the race.
Well, no, Jesse's doing 4, and here come a few trucks trying to beat him off pit road. Tommy Ryan, the championship leader, takes 2 tyres. He wasn't happy with the track position at the back of the field, and he will win the race off pit road ahead of Brian Yatzik, and Jared Haggerty also did 2 tyres, but actually Jesse Fowler was ahead of Haggerty. But yeah, Michael Krobach and Michael Koenig stayed out there on their old tyres.
Yeah, so we're going to see 3 different strategies right here. I think that was a good move there for Tommy Ryan to try and get out of the Hornet's Nest, to try and get some good track position as well. He'll have a little bit more control of his surroundings up here in the front, even with those 2 tires.
Absolutely, and we can see that the lights on the Ford Mustang pace car are off, so they will be restarting at the completion of this lap. Michael Krobach is a regular, the running up front. Michael Koenig, maybe not so much. Do you think he can keep it up there on those old tyres there, James?
Michael Koenig's one of those guys that has snuck in there for some really good finishes these last couple of weeks, so we'll see how much the tires actually play a role out here tonight. We do have a lot of grip with this being a night race, but we'll see how much the tires actually play into that also. We're about to find out for sure, though.
Absolutely, because the Ford Mustang pace car is about to take a hard left turn, and there he goes, down into the pits. Michael Krobach has control of the field as they come out of turn 4. He is already multiple car lengths ahead of the field before they ever get to the finish line to take a green flag. And Michael Koenig is already dropping back spots on the high line. Tommy Ryan's gone by, Yatzik has gone by, Fowler has gone by and up into 4th, and now 3 wide for 5th through the dog leg.
And you gotta love that dog leg and the assignment that it provides on there. Oh wow! And the 21, Nick Cohan's getting spun around there. The 27 is also involved. The 11 of Alec Marshall.
And another car spun there on the apron. Several trucks all got caught up there and all got a couple of dings and dents.
I apologize, that is Austin Missler in the 11 car, not Alec Marshall.
Yeah, Nick Cohan got turned, and that's what really brought the caution out, even though he was able to save it. However, it's a good thing the caution did come out, because the track got wadded up with people trying to avoid the accident behind. You can see they're trying to go 3 wide into turn 3, and Cohan gets spun. And then you see the 2 drivers behind kind of get sideways trying to avoid. Fortunately, no major contact, but definitely a bit of a mess down there in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about that dogleg, is it does provide a lot of room for some side-by-side racing, but you all have to get single file before you get to that turn 3. The track gets really narrow really quick, and that's where all those cars, no matter how many cars you have on either side of you, you need to get back down and to a good position before you get to 3.
Michael Koenig has came into the pits, but Michael Krobach has stayed out on those old tyres and will lead the field back to the green for the next green flag. We will be back for that momentarily here on the Global Sim Racing channel from Phoenix International Raceway.
Friction is heat. You know, you take an engine where the lifter goes up and down, pushes the valve up and down, it really gets hot right there. That's where oil breaks down and where we have failures. AMSOIL, on the other hand, it's a true synthetic lubricant. It's just idling right there. It doesn't even know it's being used. In other words, 300 degrees is whole hum to AMSOIL.
Hello and welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway, where Michael Krobach is getting ready to lead the field back to green. They will be completing lap 15 of 75 here tonight. And now that Michael Koenig has came into the pits on those old tyres after having a pretty sluggish restart there that time up front, that has moved the championship leader Tommy Ryan up into second place, James.
Yeah, and that's where he wants to be. He wants to be in control of his surroundings. To try and be in control of this race. He does not want to happen what happened to him a couple weeks ago at Lucas Oil Raceway, where he did get involved in that accident. So being up front here is where he definitely is feeling a lot better than being back there in the Hornet's Nest.
And Gary Whitson will be restarting inside the top 10, but nowhere near to the front as what Ryan is. Krobach leads the field away again, and he has brought Yartzik along with him there. Yartzik currently running on 2 new right side tyres in second place. Ryan falls to third.
Around. 22 of Alex Bates is also involved. I see Michael Koenig, the 11 of Austin Missler is also around.
And that does bring out the caution again, and this time we've got one driver pouring smoke out the back, and that is Alex Bates. And here we'll get a replay of what exactly happened in turn 1.
Oh, looks like the 33 gets a truck a little upset during braking, comes down and makes contact with the 34. And then, yeah, Alex Bates comes piling in there. A lot of damage there. One of your chase drivers, though, I think that he has been mathematically eliminated after last week's race.
Yeah, Alex Bates down there, 8th in the points. Might lose that spot to Jesse Fowler tonight, given the run that Jesse's had so far, because Jesse is sitting 9th in the points. And I don't see Ty Hester here, the driver sitting 7th in the points. So who knows, this could be a great points night here for Jesse Fowler, who's still currently running up there in 5th place. I think he is the first driver on 4 new tyres. I can't remember how many Dan Murray took.
I think Dan Murray did take 2 tires, so he will be. Jesse and Dan Murray both took 4 tires on that last caution, so that should be your fastest 2 people there on 4.
Still currently logging laps under caution right now. Now you see Jesse Fowler ahead of Jared Haggerty in the number 57 truck there in 6th place. Jared Haggerty started all the way back in 13th, so he's doing well to get that back, but he also took 2 tyres on that pit stop. And the good thing about small tracks like this is these cautions go by rather quickly, which is a blessing but also a bit of a curse in disguise, James, because it means that these drivers don't have a whole lot of time to get their trucks repaired or even think about what strategy call they're going to make under each caution.
Yeah, and it's not a long track either, so you don't have a whole lot of time, especially the 22 of Alex Bates there is not going to have a whole lot of time to try and get his truck repaired. Also, the number 33 of Sean Music as well, also going to have a lot of time down there, and they're going to have to definitely pay attention to where that pace car is coming from to make sure they don't lose any more laps.
Looks like we should be getting the one to go this time by. The field is already double file in preparation. Let's give you a rundown through the top 10 because it has been changing a little bit under these cautions. Michael Crowbot currently leading Brian Yartzik. Tommy Ryan and Dan Murray will be on the second row. Then Jesse Fowler and Jared Haggerty. Jonathan Cadell and Fred Moreau will be on the fourth row. Gary Wilson in 9th place, lined up alongside his cousin and last season's champion Bryce Whitson will round out the top 10 when they do go back to green.
Yeah, and still a long way to go for this championship. Right now, Tommy is doing what he needs to do. He just needs to get as solid a finish as possible, but Gary Whitson was running up front there, got shuffled a little back there with that pit strategy on that last stop. Normally one to try the little more eccentric pit strategy on there, but goes with the herd and only gets 4 tires on that last yellow that we had. So we'll see if he's able to work his way back up there. This championship is definitely not over by any means, even though that Tommy is sitting a little bit more comfortable than Gary is right now. But Gary is definitely one that can strike and get a good finish, especially if we have some bad luck here by the number 16 Northern Tools Silverado.
These incidents obviously are helping Tommy Ryan out because it means if he gets involved in an incident himself, he won't drop back as far. But let's see what happens. Hopefully we'll get a long green flag run this time by. Krobok once again leads them back to the green flag. Yartzik has the track all to himself in second. The same can be said for Ryan in third. The battle's on behind them.
Again, we're going to see Dan Murray there try and make that outside line work. Not a whole lot of room, especially with that apron down there that Tommy Ryan is going to take. We'll see if he is able to hold on as Dan Murray is going to fall back in line behind there. But we do see some 2x2 behind them. That looks like the Jonathan Cadell and Jared Haggerty and Gary Whitson and Fred Moreau there battling behind.
And this is definitely not what Gary Whitson needs to be seen out of his windshield, because if they get tangled, these championship hopes will be gone. And he is making it 3 wide on the low side, trying to get by this Hornet's nest.
Wow, and that was a fantastic job there by Jonathan Cadell. Almost got into the back of Jesse Fowler there in the number 98 car. Gets checked up a little bit and was able to keep the truck under control and is going to try and gain that position, those spots that he lost back there.
I still don't think Gary Whitson is out of the woods.
Jonathan Cadell's around.
He gets around it.
Oh, big pile up. Huge mess behind there.
Bryce Whitson is in it. Sean Music is in it. Jonathan Cadell was the one who started it. Jeff Casista. Luke Moreau has gotten a bit of damage. Jeff Ryan, some drivers at the back of the field. It started at the front and then it looked like it was okay for the first few drivers. Watch Gary Whitson work his way around the outside of this one.
He did a fantastic job.
In front of him. Yeah, he did. The drivers by, not so lucky.
Yeah, man, fantastic driving there by Gary Whitson for sure to barely sneak by there on that outside because the track was blocked in front of him. The racing room that he had was shut off there very quickly, but you just see everyone just kind of piles in there behind and not a lot of place for everyone to go.
And that will ride on board Gary Whitson and, well, there's not a whole lot to say here. Let's just watch and enjoy the show. And there you can see the contact was definitely made between the 124 truck and Jonathan Cadell's truck, who went for a spin in the number 65. A 124 was Michael Atkins Jr. making his first 2015 ASRS Truck Series start. He is still running up there in the top 10 though, despite that incident. And I mean, you can't really blame Atkins. It was a wild restart there. James, and unfortunately there was just a bit of contact made and there were pretty big consequences.
Yeah, and it did look on that last replay, which, by the way, that was even more impressive watching what Gary was able to do, especially staying off the wall outside of that. But it did look like we did have a little bit of netcode there, but I think those two were going to make contact regardless there. But everyone's trying to get everything that they can here on these restarts, and sadly, Jonathan Cadell was the first one to really get unlucky in that one, and we just saw everyone again pile in after there. But there's not a whole lot you can do when you have two trucks going towards one part of the racetrack.
Robert Barney has officially retired from the race, so you see Jonathan Cadell coming down to get some more repairs. We haven't had a whole lot of retirements early on today. We do have E.J. O'Rourke, it looks like he's 11 laps down. Alex Bates, we saw him blow his engine earlier. Nick Cohan involved in an incident. Chad Coleman is 2 laps down. Everyone else is 1 lap down or less, and that means they could still be in contention for perhaps even a top 10 finish, because we saw Michael Krobach at the last race. I think he got back in the top 10 at the end, despite being 6 laps down.
Yeah, that was very impressive by Michael last week. And while we have Jonathan Cadell up here on the screen, if you ever are looking for some sim racing entertainment and looking for a man that could shotgun beers with the rest of them, definitely go and check out his Twitch. Very funny stuff there on his Twitch. They have a new Twitch channel. I don't have his new one up there, but definitely get a chance over there at Still Horse Racing, the Still Horse Racing driver, providing a lot of entertainment to the sim racing world.
The pace car lights are off. There is a time limit on this race of 1 hour and 20 minutes. We're nowhere near that, and we shouldn't get anywhere near it, but I figured I'd mention it at the least. It looks like we will go to the 75 lap completion, even though we're only at lap 27 right now. And Brian Yartzik this time is going to have control of the field. He has taken the lead from Michael Krobach, and he will lead them back to the green ahead of Dan Murray and Tommy Ryan. So I'm not sure we got that lead changed from camera. We were trying to make sure Gary got his way out of that hornet's nest, which he only did narrowly. And somewhere within all of that, Yartzik has taken the top spot away. That means he will have control of the field as a Ford Mustang pace car comes down into the pit road. And Yartzik, it leaves it to a bit late, but then he finally gets on the power and pulls away from the field. Krobach in second, although I don't think Dan Murray is going to let him have that. There, Dan Murray dives it deep into turn 1 again, and it's looking for second.
Yeah, and Jared Haggerty is making a big run there on Jesse Fowler, almost contacting the dog leg. And we have Alex Bergeron 3 wide down there below them. Alex smartly backs off there to let those two continue their racing there. I don't think 3 wide was going to work in turn 3, which we've already found out tonight it does not. But fantastic racing these restarts are providing here.
Gary Whitson sits in 8th place behind all of this, hoping these drivers can keep it clean. Yartzik has pulled away with the lead. Murray is up into 2nd. Then it's Krobach, Ryan, and then this 3-way battle going on for 5th place between Fowler and Bergeron underneath the apron as Haggerty goes up high, and they are 3 wide through turn 3 there, although I think Bergeron was having some connection. Shooting into the wall goes Haggerty.
And
the caution
at the
is
same time.
Yeah, there's a big wreck going on behind that's brought the caution out. Sean Music has gone around, and Adam Gilliland was involved in it.
And this very narrow front stretch here at the Phoenix International Raceway, not a lot of room for these trucks to go, as we just see everyone just kind of keep piling in there, trying their best to try and slow down, but as fast as these trucks are still going around here, it's definitely hard to get slowed back down to going, but yeah, we just see, I can't tell who that is on the bottom, but the 33, there's a little bit of contact there, and we do see the pile up and the track just get blocked, and you have no choice but to try and just jump on those brakes and slow down as much as possible.
There's really no place for a good wreck here, is there? Everywhere the track seems to get wadded up.
Yeah, unless you have something coming right out of 2, where you do have that big dog leg. There is definitely, there's plenty of, the track is plenty wide for racing, but when you get 2 trucks sideways like that, there's not a whole lot of room, theoretically.
Now, it will be interesting seeing if anyone comes into the pits. Brian Yartzik stays out. Dan Murray is really the only one of the leaders coming in, considering the fact that it's been a while that they've all been on these cars. Granted, they haven't done a lot of green flag laps, but still, I think the last time everyone was in the pits was lap 10. Now, fuel shouldn't be much of a concern from this point. It's probably not even a concern for the drivers who pitted on the 10th lap due to the amount of caution laps they've all had. But I'm a little bit surprised we didn't see more people come down with Dan Murray there.
Yeah, and you definitely see all the damaged trucks coming down there as well. But interesting strategy there by Dan Murray. I agree that they must have felt like they haven't run enough green flag laps on their tires to justify coming down the pit road. But tires can make a big difference here. But I'm still surprised to only see Dan Murray really coming down.
Absolutely, although granted, he will have to deal with the mid-pack traffic, which we have seen has been a bit chaotic so far tonight. Track position, obviously, being up the front is the place you want to be if you want to avoid these wrecks, and that is the place that Brian Yartzik will find himself on the restart. In fact, let's read our top 10 out to you right now, because we are right about at the halfway point. So let's go up to speed with our ASRS AMSOIL up to speed segment here and run down the top 10 for you. It is currently Brian Yartzik leading the field in the number 9 truck. That's the number he's had for the last 2 races. Currently ahead of Michael Krobach, who is running in 2nd. And then the championship leader Tommy Reiners in 3rd. After taking his first pole of the year, Jesse Fowler is still hanging strong there in 4th position. Alex Bergeron is 15 years old and he started from the middle of the field. He is currently running in 5th place. 2nd in the points, Gary Whitson moves up to 6th as other drivers come into the pits. Ricky Hardin there is in 7th despite bringing out the first caution of the race. Jeff Casista was involved in one of the early incidents, but he is still holding strong there in 8th position in that yellow number 44 truck. Dan Murray is currently in 9th after his pit stop, and Jim Foose rounds out the top 10 after starting at the back of the field. The pace car lights are going off, but with oil temperatures reaching 300 to 400 degrees, would you trust some off-the-shelf oil? Step up to AMSOIL 100% synthetic oil from Adam Bladel. Direct shipping across the 48 contiguous United States, and the best prices you will find. Support Americans, support the fellow racer, and buy your next oil change from Adam Bladel. Looks like
Samuel,
Adam
do you think that
Gilliland.
Go ahead.
Looks like Adam Gilliland has officially retired from the racetrains.
Yeah, I was going to say, Samuel, how wild do you think that they're going to get on this restart? Do you think that they might actually try and calm it down a little bit here?
Well, there are no free repairs in the ASRS, and there is an 18 incident point limit, so you would hope that they would stop having incidents eventually. Usually we do see a long green flag run at some point during the ASRS races. Hopefully we're about to get it in a lapse time, because the pace car stays out. Not entirely sure why. It looks like Mark Myers had a spin over in turn 1 in the number 04 truck. He is currently hanging on. No, he is a lap down, so he has been involved in an incident, and that might explain why the handling of his truck is off a little bit. Or actually, maybe he was involved in an incident, because that was actually over in turns 3 and 4. Let's see if we can get a replay on that. We still have half a lap to go. I don't know if maybe he was trying to catch up with the field and lost it. I don't know, but we're about to get the green flag, so let's go back to live action. It does look like he was hauling around there, trying to get back up with the pace car, so maybe he had the solo spin. But it was over in turns 3 and 4, and it has been cleaned up, and so right as they approach the halfway mark at the completion of lap 35, we are about to go green with Brian Yartzik leading Krobach back. Tommy Ryan is the second truck on the low side. The Ford Mustang pace car this time pulls off without incident, and Yartzik is back on the loud pedal, and we are back under green.
Yeah, and we'll see how many wide they fan out here on the backstretch this time, as we see Jesse Fowler trying to make a run there on the outside of the number 16 of Tommy Ryan. Let's see as, it looks like Alex Bergeron's going to try and sneak behind. We do see some 3 wide action there. Jared Haggerty making that bottom line work for sure, heading there into turn 3.
Tommy Ryan got a little bit loose as he came back up on the track, and that allows Jesse Fowler to take that 3rd position from him. So the championship leader's involved in the mix now and gets up the rear of Jesse Fowler, but fortunately they're both able to catch it.
Yeah, and keep in mind, those are teammates there. There is definitely no love lost there with that racing. Still racing hard to try and get every position possible. But as we do see, Gary Whitson making a pass there on Tommy Ryan.
Yeah, look what it's done. That bubble from Tommy Ryan having to get out the gas so he didn't wreck his teammate, and there's a caution.
Let's see, I see the number 12 is Steve Wahala there in the outside wall there on the front stretch, the number 12. And I believe that Nick Cohan with the 21, he might have also been involved with that.
We'll get a replay here of Steve Bahala. There weren't too many trucks behind him, so fortunately it looks like it was just a 1 or 2 truck incident here. But this does bring out our 6th caution of a race. And there you see Bahala does get a little bit of help there, and somehow though, he probably got a couple more dents in the front end there that he's not going to be too happy about, but I think his truck should still be running. He'll be able to get that repaired and hopefully stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, just overcorrected a little bit there, but I honestly, at that point, I don't know what's worse, hitting the inside wall or the outside wall there. So when you get that truck that upset there, so tough break there for the number 12 of Steve Bahala, but we have been seeing some good runs out of him this year, though.
Well, since we got another caution, I don't think we'll see any of the leaders come into the pits. We're going to take a quick break. We will return momentarily here, the Phoenix International Raceway.
Friction is heat. You know, you take an engine where the lifter goes up and down, pushes the valve up and down, it really gets hot right there. That's where oil breaks down and where we have failures. AMSOIL, on the other hand, it's a true synthetic lubricant. It's just idling right there. It doesn't even know it's being used. In other words, 300 degrees is whole hum to AMSOIL.
Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway, where we are getting set to complete lap 42 of 75 around here in a race that has seen several yellow flags at this point, 6 to be exact. Although we did have a good green flag stretch at the start of a race, and we're sure eventually they'll get around to having another one. Brian Yarczyk is going to lead them back to green, ahead of Michael Krobach, Jesse Fowler, Alex Bergeron, and Tommy Ryan was able to hold on to 5th place ahead of Gary Whitson due to the timing of a caution. The Ford Mustang pace car makes a hard left turn. Brian Yarczyk has control of the field. The green flag is back out, and we are racing here again in Phoenix.
And Tommy Ryan going to get a little bump there from his teammate going into turn 1. A little getting up, try and get around that 13. But Gary Whitson is going to fight there on the outside. Tommy's going to take that very low line. We'll see who winds up prevailing. Gary Whitson does have the preferred line going into turn 3. And they are definitely bringing... Gary Whitson does not care about the point loss. Oh, a little bit of contact there too. He does not care how many points he is down. He is going to race Tommy to the very end at Homestead here next week. Oh, number 2, Jim Foose. It's a little sideways, is able to correct it, goes 3 wide there for a second. Great save there by the number 2 of Jim Foose.
That drops him back from 10th to about 13th though. And while we get a replay of that, I'll tell you, Tommy Ryan has also fallen behind the driver third in the points. That's Ricky Hardin. Although Tommy can afford to do this, he'll still be able to walk out with about a 20-point lead if he only finishes a few points back or a few positions back of Gary. And now we see that Jim Foose did indeed get a little bit of help from behind, but fortunately they were all able to get through that turn okay. Back to live action.
And we do see the number 65 of Jonathan Goodell trying to work out there on the inside of Jim Foose right there in the 2. Jim Foose trying to recover from that loose incident here a lap ago and trying to correct on there. But you're right, Samuel. Tommy Ryan has been dropping back right now. He can afford to do this, but he does not want to lose too many points. You really do not want to let Gary get any bit closer heading into Homestead, because every position definitely can matter.
Absolutely, and Gary Whitson is up to 5th now, right behind Jesse Fowler in 4th.
Oh, 44 is around. Oh, contact with a 33, hard.
And upside down goes the 33 and then rolls out the way. Fortunately, it looked like a 44 disconnected from the servo before they got too ugly.
Oh, that was still pretty ugly, Samuel, as we do see the 44 head up and get turned over on his roof there. And hard contact there with the 33. I believe that was the 3rd incident he's been involved in tonight.
Oh, I don't even know if he's been able to keep Cat out, but unfortunately for Sean Music and the 33, that was definitely the hardest of them. Almost wondered if the 44 truck hit his incident limit, and that's why he disappeared after that incident. Remember, if you hit 18 incident points, you get booted from the server, and the way you accumulate those, if you hit the wall, you get 2 incident points. If you hit another truck, you get 4 incident points. And so if you accumulate enough of those and hit 18, you get booted, or the server boots you. I have a feeling that might have been what happened there to the number 44 truck of Jeff Casista. And it's unfortunate, James, because it seems like he just got loose out of turn 4, an honest mistake, but it took out a couple more trucks. Now we do see the leaders coming into the pits.
We do see the Michael Krobach, the number 98, Jesse Fowler, and Ricky Hardin there behind him as well. I believe that we're probably going to see these guys all take 4 tires here, and this should be their last pit stop of the race.
So Brian Yarczyk is one of the drivers that stayed out. I think he's going to finish on the same left side tyres that he started this in with.
Yeah, and that's something that we've seen out of these Whitson Motorsports drivers this year. They try and conserve their tires and pit as little as possible. They like to definitely be up front and kind of be in control of the race too. And especially with all of these yellows, that's definitely been helping that 9 Visit Michigan Silverado there, Brian Yarczyk. So not a whole lot of time left to go. We're going to be restarting here with about 23 laps to go. Not a whole lot of time left in this race. We're definitely getting down to crunch time.
And one of the other drivers who pit is Tommy Ryan, despite the fact that Gary Whitson stayed out and is up into 3rd. And surely Gary's got to be thinking about that win, James, because not only is that worth 2 more points in 3rd place, but it's also worth bonus points.
That's right, and Gary really does need to get that win if he wants to feel any more comfortable about going into Homestead. Right now, it's very much in Tommy's grasp in his championship to lose, but with the win and with the position that Tommy is currently running in, that will definitely make a big hint where Gary will be within striking distance. He's not going to make up all 24 points here tonight. He just wants to try and make as much of get as big a chunk out of that points lead as possible heading into Homestead, where he could just have a chance.
Now, I believe Michael Krobach stayed out when we saw everyone pit earlier on. I'm not entirely sure if this is the first time that number 7 truck has seen pit road this race, and if that is, how will that affect him in the closing laps here, James? Because all of a sudden he's going to be back in the field, whereas he's been running up front where things have been a lot calmer for the first half of this race.
No need to fear, underdog is here. Michael Krobach's going to be feeling really good here for these last 23 or so laps. Especially he's been running up there at the front on the older stuff now with the new tires that he's going to have on there and that extra grip. Definitely look for him to be very competitive here at the end of this race. Him and Jesse Fowler are definitely going to play a big role, I think, before the end of this race.
Austin Missler and Michael Atkins Jr. have now retired from the race. As the attrition continues, each truck gets speed up a little bit more. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, it just can't take it anymore and the engines explode. I call it the Angry Birds theory. Eventually, the pig can only take so much and then it goes away. And I'm the only one who understands that theory. Anyway, they're coming around to completely lap 51 out of 75. Brian Yatzik once again has control of the field, and he will lead them back to green with Alex Bergeron on the high side and Gary Whitson behind him.
Man, very aggressive move there by Michael Krobach there, sneaking down all the way down to the bottom. And then now we see Jared Haggerty going to go 3 wide there on Bryce Whitson. Oh, a little bit of contact there with Dan Murray. Everyone is able to keep it straight, though, and we stay green.
This has been the worst start that the leaders got on the restart all race long, and it's going to help Alex Bergeron take a lead on the high side from Brian Yatzik. And all of a sudden, maybe those old tyres are hurting Yatzik. I can't recall the last time Bergeron was in the pits, but right now he is pulling away from the rest of the field. Yatzik trying to hold off Haggerty. It was one of the drivers who was just down pit road.
Yeah, and only the second start there for the number 112 Nesquik of Alex Bergeron. So very good run. He was very competitive last week at Texas Motor Speedway as well. Looking very strong here towards the end of this race.
Oh, contact!
Oh, number 9.
Goes Yatzik.
Up in that outside wall, he's going to go ahead and stay there, wait for the fill to go by there. And I think that we're going to get that pulled up here on replay for you.
That was Haggerty who made contact with him, and Haggerty will come off a better of it in second position. Bergeron will lead the field back to the restart, and a very unfortunate end to the race there for Yatzik. He doesn't have any damage. He'll still be able to salvage a top 10, I think, but his chances for winning are pretty much gone. Although now I'm pretty sure we'll see him down pit road and getting 4 new tyres. How much do you think that those will be able to help him out, considering the fact that the reason Haggerty's so fast is because he's on 4 new Goodyears?
Yeah, it definitely looks like the correct move there was to come in and get 4 fresh tires. As we could see, the 57 there is definitely feeling really good right now. Has all that extra grip, as we see here as we go on board with Gary Whitson. Just a little bit of contact down there. Again, it looks like a little bit of neck code. We have seen that earlier in the night as well, but Jared Haggerty is definitely showing a lot of muscle here towards the end of this race with those 4 fresh tires. Now, Brian Yatzik will definitely get some help with those tires. Hopefully he just doesn't have too much damage left on his truck after that.
And since we're talking about tyres, let's talk about 2 drivers that are on different strategies, namely Gary Whitson on the old tyres and Tommy Ryan on the new tyres. Judging from what we've seen out of Haggerty, you would think Tommy Ryan would be running down Whitson, but that didn't happen under that run. Gary Whitson is still holding on to 4th place, and Tommy Ryan really wasn't able to pick off that many positions. He's back there in 9th, and definitely in the danger zone if something were to happen on the next restart.
Yeah, and I think that that's Tommy just trying to play it safe, not wanting to put his truck in a bad position, just trying to come home with a solid finish here tonight. But if he is able to get up there and gain a couple more positions, he's just going to feel that much better going into Homestead too. So I think a little bit of points racing out here tonight, trying to make sure he gets his truck home in one piece too. But Tommy Run's definitely a guy that likes to see those long green flag runs, so he's not too much of a fan of these short little spurts that we've been having here tonight.
The pace car lights are still on, even though they just completed lap 56, so that means that the earliest we will be restarting at lap 58, which will be 17 laps left to go. Now, these drivers might only be racing until 5 to go, although granted, I think I'm talking about this a bit too early, because I think we'll have another caution or two by then. But if a caution comes out with 5 or 6 to go, that will end the race. Even if it turns out there will be a one-lap shootout, the ASRS does not believe in one-lap shootouts because there's too much chaos when you allow that to happen. And so if there is one lap, if iRacing says, hey, we're going back green with 1 lap to go, the league moderators will say, no, we're not, add a lap of caution and we will end under yellow. Hopefully that won't be the case, but it does mean that these drivers are all going to have to think about, hey, we could be looking at only about 10 lap shootout here, James, and if a caution is thrown into all of that, you really don't have a lot of time left to get up through the field.
Yeah, and kind of the situation too where you are running out of time here. You need to try and get as many positions as possible, as we will be going green this next time by. It's definitely take on all of these restarts. We have not seen a whole lot of give other than Tommy, who's just trying to make sure that he gets it to the end in one piece. So these guys definitely look for the aggression to stay at that same level here towards the end of this race.
Brian Yatzik did not get a good restart from the first position the last time by, but Alex Bergeron did, who's going to have to hope he does that again, because Jared Hagerty has definitely seemed quite aggressive in these closing laps. He has a bit of a reputation for being aggressive, but honestly that's how you get race wins, and I'm sure that's what that number 57 driver is trying to get tonight. Michael Krobach there in 3rd has had a solid race tonight as well. Let's see what he can do at the end of this thing. The Ford Mustang pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road. Alex Bergeron gets a great restart. Hagerty does not, and Krobach may even be looking for 2nd place before they get to the first corner.
That's right, and a good restart there by Michael Krobach, as he is going to make that. Oh, we do see Jared Hagerty fighting back here on the outside. Wow, a power move as well. We're going to see who winds up making the best of that situation as they go down into turn 3.
Yeah, it looks like Hagerty is going to have it, but meanwhile, while they've been battling, Bergeron has been able to pull away with the lead. Meanwhile, Bryce has moved up into 4th. Bryce Whitson, Gary Whitson is dropping back spots. He's got Fowler on the inside of him, and Dan Murray on the inside of Fowler. And there's contact between Murray and Fowler, but fortunately Gary's able to get in front of him.
Yeah, and Jesse was definitely the odd man out, being squeezed up there in the middle. Did a fantastic job to stay out of the rear corner panel there of the 13 and let him continue to race on there. Very, very peculiar. Oh, as we do see the number 98 of Jesse get a little bit tight off of turn 4. That's going to stall Tommy Ryan. He's going to lose a couple more positions as well.
Yeah, Jesse Fowler has been running in the top 5 all night, but things have gone south for him in the closing laps here. But while Gary Whitson has been dropping back in his closing laps, so has Tommy Ryan. Tommy Ryan has fallen all the way back to 11th, so Gary Whitson, who has just taken 4th back from his cousin Bryce Whitson, could be looking at a good points tonight after all, as Ryan is in the wall when he's losing a lot of positions now.
Yeah, that is not what he wanted to have at all, and that's exactly what Gary Whitson wanted to see. He's definitely going to continue to run strong here towards the end, as we do have some trouble here for your points leader, Tommy Ryan.
And Krobach has taken 2nd position away from Hagerty. Hagerty may have burned his new tyres off a little bit too early, and if he has, could that mean that Gary Whitson is looking at 3rd position here? Now that Tommy Ryan has dropped all the way back to 16th, a 13-point swim would put them back within 10 points of another going into next week's finale at Homestead.
Yeah, and business is picking up here as we do see the number 7, Michael Krobach, has been gaining on your leader of Alex Bergeron here. We're definitely going to catch him here. He's definitely going to catch him here before the end of this race is up. Now passing him is definitely going to be another thing. We're going to see how aggressive those guys will definitely get down there in that short shoot there on the backstretch, and which line is going to prevail.
Well, Michael Krobach, second to Tommy Ryan on fewest amount of incident points, at least as far as the trace drivers are concerned throughout the season. So he is known for being a clean driver. However, I don't know if he's ever put that to the test in the final 10 laps battling for the top position.
Yeah, and Krobach, he's been on fire here. The chase has not gone his way. He has had some connection issues, our equivalent here in the sim racing world of an engine failure or a parts failure, but has been running very, very strong despite his bad luck here, and as he's looking again very, very strong here again tonight.
Meanwhile, Jim Foose and Vicky Hardin, sitting 3rd and 4th in the points, are racing really hard for 12th position. This is only going on a few trucks ahead of Tommy Ryan, and they're going to have to hope that they don't tangle. I don't think they're really in championship winning contention anymore if things stay the way they are, but they're definitely going to be thinking about battling for 3rd in the points here. Right now, Foose is in front on the track.
Yeah, and even though that they're probably racing for 3rd, they definitely want 3rd place. These guys, it doesn't matter what position they're racing for, they want to try and get it, whether it's to win, whether it's for 10, it's 3rd in points for the championship. These guys, they do not like being outraced, so that's the definition of a racer. But especially in this series, these guys know each other very well, and as we see, Ricky Hardin's going to try and battle back here and try and get that swap back from Jim Foose. He does not want to surrender that just yet, but this is definitely going to go down all the way to Homestead. Doesn't matter what position in the championship you are, you're going to try and give it your all the way to the very last lap there next week.
Tommy Ryan has not been able to pick off one single position since his incident. He is still stuck back there in 16th place behind Troy Haight in 15th place. But meanwhile, we're watching the battle inside the top 10 here with, let's see, this is Jonathan Cadell there running in 5th position. And he is being challenged for that place by Bryce Whitson there, far back of Gary Whitson in 4th. Battles going on throughout the whole top 10 with Dan Murray in 7th, Jesse Fowler and Brian Yatzik running side by side for 8th, and then Aaron Kleinhans, who we haven't really mentioned at all tonight, rounds up the top 10, and as they cross the line, there's only 6 laps left to go.
Definitely getting crunch time as Alex Bergeron has been opening the gap back up on the number 7 of Michael Krobach there. Michael probably cooked his tires there on that Mako Silverado on that restart to get up to 2nd, and now is having a hard time to try and get to that 112. But still, a couple laps left. He could be trying to cool off those tires and make one last run at him as well.
If we get a caution, that will end it, and if we get a caution, it's going to be because of this battle between Ricky Hardin and Jim Foose going on for 12th position. They have been switching positions back and forth, getting very close to one another. We ride on board Jim Foose right now. There you see Hardin in front of him, but yeah, they're getting tight.
That is some good close racing right there. These guys are not giving it, as Jim Foose is going to try and come back down on the bottom there. Man, fantastic racing by these two here in our closing laps. Oh, number 90. He is going to hit that inside wall. I don't know if he's going to keep it. It looks like we are going to stay green here.
That's CJ O'Rourke. He's multiple laps down. Fortunately, as you say, we stay green.
Tommy's going to pick up a couple positions from that one. That's definitely what that 16 truck wanted to see. Trying to salvage as many points here as possible at the end.
And talking about trying to salvage something at the end, Krobach just ran a couple of laps ago, he must have ran right faster than Bergeron, because he has pulled that lead back down to 0.3 of a second. They're coming to 2 to go. I don't know if Krobok has anything on pace, but if Bergeron's tyres are going off, he could be forced into a mistake, and if that happens, that could definitely open up a window for Krobok to take this win. 2 laps left to go now.
Yeah, this it does look like Michael Krobok was trying to get those tires cooled off on that Mako Silverado. He's making a run here as these guys are using every inch of that racetrack as possible. This race is definitely not over, though. I do think that Michael Krobok has not a whole lot of time left as we are coming to 1 to go. He's going to have to make it happen.
And they will race back to the green as the white flag comes out because the caution does not end it on the final lap. Alex Bergeron has a track all to himself. He gets through turns 1 and 2 okay. Krobok will probably try and use a different line down the backstretch. No, they're all going through the dogleg. In fact, Krobok has to worry about Jared Haggerty looking underneath him for second in the final turn. And they'll race back to the line. No, they won't. Haggerty gets tight in the centre of a corner. But Alex Bergeron, the 15-year-old from the middle of the field, is going to take his first ASRS AMSOIL Truck Series victory here at Phoenix. And in a race that could have seen Tommy Ryan wrap up a championship, the championship is going to swing the other way, with Gary Whitson crawling back about 11 points, I would say, on Tommy Ryan here tonight. There will be about 11 to 12 points between them heading into next week's finale at Homestead, Miami, with Tommy Ryan having the advantage. So be sure to tune in for that, because this championship fight is not over. And a huge congratulations to Bergeron on his first win here tonight.
Yeah, fantastic run by the number 112 of Alex Bergeron. Again, only his second start here in the American Sim Racing Series, AMSOIL Truck Series, as he's going to burn some rubber down here on the front stretch as well. Definitely getting that chocolate milk Silverado. Very, very happy for this youngster here tonight.
And we will be back to interview Alex Bergeron as well as the rest of the top finishers here at Phoenix International Speedway momentarily with a full race rundown, so don't go away, we'll be right back. Well, let's talk about that great race, eh? Because we came home with 2 Canadians in the top 2 positions at the end of this 75-lap race here at Phoenix International Raceway. Alex Bergeron leading Michael Krobach and Jared Haggerty there in 3rd place. Gary Whitson, big championship implications here as he was able to finish 4th while Tommy Ryan was much further back. Jonathan Cadell salvaged a 5th place finish despite being involved in a couple of incidents early on. Bryce Whitson, Dan Murray, Brian Yarczyk, Jesse Fowler, our pole sitter, finished in 9th, and then Aaron Kleinhans round out the top 10 there, James.
And coming home in 11th will be Pierre-Luc Moreau in his first start here in the American Sim Racing Series here this season. Ricky Harden, after that speeding penalty there towards the end of that race, will come home in 12th. Jim Foose, with that amazing battle that he had there with Ricky Harden, will come home in 13th. Tommy Ryan was able to come back up to 14th, but after hitting the wall coming out of turn 4, really tightens up this championship heading into Homestead here next week. Fred Moreau will finish in 15th. Troy Height will be finishing in 16th. Alec Marshall in the 14 will be in 17th. Michael Koenig in the 34 will be the last truck here on the lead lap. Jeffrey Gilliam and Steve Bruhala will finish out your top 20 here.
And then we get to the trucks who were involved in incidents tonight and weren't able to make it to the end in an intact truck, and they were Jeff Ryan in 21st, Mark Myers 22nd, Nick Cohan 23rd, Austin Whistler 24th, Sean Music 25th, Jeff Casista 26th, Michael Atkins Jr. 27th, BJ O'Rourke 28th, Adam Gilliland 29th, Robert Barney there in 30th. And then on the final page we have Chad Coleman in 31st and Alex Bates 32nd. The other 2 did not start the race, and they were Daniel Vining and Carson Orbay. So let's talk to some of top finishers here tonight, starting with the 3rd place driver Jared Haggerty. And Jared Haggerty, first of all, I don't recall speaking to you before. Is this your first top 3 finish in the ASRS?
Not my first in the ASRS. I had quite a few top 3s last season, but it's my first one this season after, just a horrible regular season and not being able to make the cut there at the end. But yeah, this is my first time up in the booth since last season, Samuel.
Yeah, and you put on some 4 fresh Goodyears at the end there, and they seem to be doing wonders for you. Unfortunately, you weren't able to run down Bergeron at the end, it looked like.
Well, actually, it was only 2 tires there at the end. And first of all, I got to apologize to a few people in the race. I got to apologize to Jim Foose. Gave him a little bit of a bump earlier, caused him to go back a few spots. And I got to really apologize to the 9 of Brian Yazik. I thought we were just fighting for the same amount of real estate. But overall, I think it was a good run. I had to be a little bit more aggressive tonight just to make my way up through the front. And I guess the 2-tire strategy paid off for me in the end.
Absolutely it did, and you were able to come out of here with a 3rd place finish in that number 57 truck. And was that something you expected coming into tonight? You started in 13th position here. How do you usually favour Phoenix International Raceway?
Honestly, it's one of my favorite tracks. I knew going in here it was going to be pretty tough. But I was really confident because I was really confident on the long runs. Not many people had as many or as much long run experience as I had earlier in the week, but overall pretty confident going into this. Again, I just gotta give that credit to a few people who work with me on a week-to-week basis, and I'm just glad that our experience and our time was well put in and it showed on the track.
Absolutely. Would you like to thank a few of those people before we let you go and celebrate?
Yeah, I gotta just thank the people from Behind Racing, Stephanie Lessentine, Laura Lawson. They helped me a great deal all the way through. I'll thank my teammates earlier in the year, the Whitson guys. They helped me out throughout the year, earlier in the year, but we had to part separate ways. But a new team has now formed now. Come From Behind Racing. If you'd like to run with us next year, just let us know, and we'll be sure to run with you. It's open to everybody, so Come From Behind Racing. We're going to come from behind and take it all next season.
Absolutely, and that's what you did tonight from 13th to 3rd. We hope for perhaps an even better finish next race in 1 week's time at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Thanks, Samuel. Have a good night.
And that was our 3rd place finisher there, Jared Haggerty. And now we are going to move 1 position up the order to Michael Krobach in 2nd. And James, you have called up with Michael.
And I have caught up here with the number 7 of Michael Krobach in his Mako Silverado. Started 23rd on the night, comes home with a 2nd place finish. Coming to get some 4 fresh tires there at the end. And you definitely were able to make a run there on the 112 of Alex Bergeron. This seemed like you ran out of time there, Michael.
Yeah, I was thinking about staying out the whole race, and we got some track position early on. Qualified back in 23rd, and just wanted to see what it would do if we, stayed out there on the first few cautions, and we got some good position, and wanted to come down and get 4 tires there with about 25 to go, give a shot, try to get that win, but just ran out of time. We were pretty evenly matched there with Alex at the end, but it's good to see Canadians come home 1-2.
Yeah, absolutely a proud day for Canada. Maple syrup all around. But yeah, you've had a fantastic run here, especially here in this chase. You've really turned it up an extra notch here, coming home with a 2nd place, getting your first win here this season a couple weeks ago at Vegas. What has clicked for you here at the end of the season to get these good runs going for you, Michael?
I think just some extra motivation with the chase and getting the points reset. I've had some problems early on with connection issues, and I actually missed Fontana early in the season, but we've got some extra practice going on. Running the full cup schedule has helped, and just trying to beat the other guys in the points. We've had some internet problems the last 5 or 6 weeks that have knocked us out last week. We had to make up 5-6 laps in the race, but everything held together tonight, and we came home with a solid 2nd place. Pretty happy about it.
That does move you up to 5th in the point standings. You are now 1 point behind Jim Foose in 4th, and 1 point, and actually tied with your teammate Bryce Whitson for 6th place. That's definitely within striking distance of the number 3 of Ricky Harden as well. You do head to Homestead next week for the season finale. Do you think you can maybe try and steal one away from these guys and try and get up there on that podium to end out the season?
Oh, absolutely. We had a strong run at the 1.5 miles this season, like last week at Texas. We won Vegas, so I think we got a good shot coming into Homestead, and running for the Cup Championship on Tuesday will probably help as well. And I think we can definitely beat those guys in the points, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Michael Krobach, before we let you head off and get ready for Homestead next week, do you have any final thoughts before we head there?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the partners on board on the number 7, Mako, Subway, Home Depot, Meineke, Nestle, Under Armour, and shout out to my Whitson Motorsports teammates, Gary, Bryce, Brian, Austin, Jeffrey, and Tim, and a shout out to some friends who are watching this race, Jason, Lily, and Grace.
Very cool. Michael Krobach, we will see you in Miami, sir. Good luck on your points championship, especially in the Cup Series on Tuesday, and then hopefully you kind of get that podium taken care of there on Wednesday as well. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you, James. Good to talk to you.
And that was Michael Krobach, the driver of the number 7 Mako Silverado, finishing 2nd here tonight. Does move up to 5th in the point standings. But right now, Samuel has caught up with your winner. Samuel.
Yeah, down in victory lane here with Alex Bergeron celebrating his first ASRS AMSOIL Truck Series. First of all, congratulations, Alex.
Thank you.
Well, you were fastest in practice, and at the end of the day, you were the one who got across the finish line first, but you were 18th in qualifying. What happened there?
I just didn't expect to start very far away from the first place in the qualifying. I just completely missed my qualifying. It was horrible, but in practice it was good and clean, and I just get surprised in qualifying. But P18 to P1, I think it's a great race.
Absolutely, but to get up to the front there, you had to work your way through a lot of traffic, and unfortunately there were a few incidents out there tonight. Were there any points where you thought, I'm in a bit of trouble back here?
Yeah, turn 3 especially, I just avoided a big wreck up there. I get a heart attack, but then after it was okay. and I have to say sorry to the number 124 in turn 1. I think I tapped him a little bit, so I'm sorry to him. It's my fault.
Well, there was a lot of close racing out there. Now, we actually saw you at Homestead Miami Speedway the other day for the World Cup, and you were performing right up the front there. So we know you're good at Homestead Miami Speedway. That's where we're going next week. I trust you're going to be there.
Yeah, for sure, I'll be there. So I don't know what position I will end up that day, but very looking forward for next week.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, Alex. Great job tonight. Anything else you'd like to say? People you'd like to thank before we let you go and celebrate?
Yes, I'd like to thank Walk Racing team for their support, also on road course and oval course. They are great support for me, and that's it. So thanks for Global Sim Racing Channel for making great broadcasts each week, Wednesday night, and yes, so big thanks to you guys and to Walk Racing team.
Well, thank you very much. And that was Alex Bergeron, our winner here tonight. First time winner in the ASRS AMSOIL Truck Series. It's always great to have one of those. So what do the points look like going into our finale there, James?
Well, Samuel, I have gotten updated points, and we only have 2 drivers that are going to be eligible for that championship. It will be Tommy Ryan and Gary Whitson. Only 13 points now going into there. Gary was able to gain 10 points on Tommy tonight, a huge chunk out, and it's very, very likely that if Tommy Ryan has another incident like he did here tonight, this championship could very much come down to how they finish at Homestead. And Gary Whitson has proven that he is very, very fast at Homestead. Tommy Ryan is also one of his favorite tracks, but you never know with the incidents that you have out there. So we very much have a very exciting points battle, a lot closer than what we thought we were going to have heading into Homestead next week. Ricky Harden, Jim Foose, Michael Krobach, and Bryce Whitson have all been eliminated from winning the championship, but all 4 of those drivers could come home in 3rd place, so that battle is very much alive next week in Miami as well.
Absolutely, so it'll be interesting seeing if they can battle for 3rd, but at the end of the day, just 2 drivers who are going to be fighting for the showdown after all the races so far in the 2015 ASRS AMSOIL Truck Series. The rest of them have all dropped out. Their championship hopes for the title have ceased to be. They are ex-championship contenders, but they will be there racing for every position, you can be sure, and you will get to see it all next week, same time on the GSRC, the Global Sim Racing channel. And before we hang up tonight, we would like to thank the organisers and the competitors in the ASRS AMSOIL Truck Series for coming here tonight and putting on a great show. We would also like to thank the makers of the various software and hardware that help make the stream possible: iRacing.com, Behringer, XSplit, Audio Technica, and Ava Media. Thanks to the team today, James Kahula, Joe Peak, and our camera guru, Dougie Beard. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. We would also like to send out a special thank you to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide us with much of our music. You can buy Eric's on iTunes and Spotify, and Casey's at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. We have all of our upcoming races for our other series on screen, so be sure to check those out and mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. In 20 minutes, the Lionheart Racing Series will be getting underway. They will be racing in the DW12, so be sure to check that out. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.